Good day, everyone. My name is Eileen Anbugahod, and today we will talk about the safety in the metal shop and planning a product. Are you ready? We have here our learning objectives. By the end of this presentation, you will be able to know the importance of metal working, describe the ways how people working inside the metal shop treat hazardous materials, recognize the safety rules in the metal shop, know the things to be done in planning a product, and last is to familiarize on how to use the PPE properly. So now, let's proceed to our motivation. As you notice, we have here a green board with pictures of different objects. And what you are going to do is to get a sheet of paper and list down all the name of objects from the green board that were made of metal. Machine shops contain many potential hazards, but with proper training, knowledge, common sense, and caution, you can avoid these dangers. You must remember that human flesh is no match for machines powered by several horsepower and designed to rapidly remove large volumes of metal. These machines take no prisoners and rarely offer second chances. In addition to machine hazards, there are chemical, electrical, fire, and environmental hazards. Your best chance of avoiding injury comes when you understand how tools and machines work before attempting to use them. Know and follow basic shop safety rules. Learn the precautions necessary for safely handling hazardous materials by studying their MSDS. Plan ahead and anticipate what is likely to happen next. Take your time and do not rush your work. So, since our topic is about the safety rules in the metal shop, it is very important for us to know what is metal. So, metal is an element, compound, or alloy that is a good conductor of both electricity and heat. So, what is metal shop? A metal shop is a class where metalwork is taught, the room where these classes take place, and a shop that deals in metalworking. So, how to work safely in the shop? Shop safety is of utmost importance and concern for all technicians, managers, as well as shop owners. In order to prevent injuries to yourself and to fellow operators, safety rules and regulations must be followed. The rest of this lesson sets out some basic safety guidelines that will prevent injury when adhered to. Always wear eye protection when working under a vehicle. Eye protection should also be worn whenever there is a chance of dust, dirt, or metal shavings getting into your eyes. Eye and face protection should be worn whenever working with or around the battery. Clothing should never be loose, it might get caught in moving parts of machinery. Always wear good foot protection. Long hair should be tied back or tucked under hat. No jewelry should be worn. If there are spills, clean up immediately after they occur. Do not play around in the shop. And do not operate any equipment unless you are trained to use it. Also, we have here some rules that we should always remember. Use the proper tool for the specific job. Keep hand tools clean and in good condition. Check electrically powered tools before using them, making sure the cord and plug are in good condition. Never use a grounded electrical plug that has had the ground prong removed. Wear the required eye and skin protection when working with chemicals. Check hoses and connections when using compressed air. Wear safety goggles. When moving a vehicle in and out of the shop, do not get close to it or in between it and the wall or a heavy object. Before driving a vehicle out of the shop door, honk the horn and check carefully for people or other vehicles. If an engine must be run in the shop, it must have its exhaust collected by the shop's ventilation system. Keep your area neat and clean. Clean up any spills immediately. Do not leave tools or equipment scattered around on the floor. Return any tools or equipment to where they belong. Do not smoke while working on a vehicle. Always work in a shop with ample ventilation. It is important that fire safety guidelines are followed as many of the materials used here are highly combustible. Know where the firefighting equipment in the work area is located. Be familiar with its operation. Store welding cylinders in upright position, away from heat and combustible materials and attached to a cart to prevent falling. And last is to store volatile liquids in tight metal containers that are properly labeled, color-coded, and kept in metal cabinet labeled flammable. Keep fire away. Do not wear clothes that are oil soaked. Wear clean shop clothes. To prevent explosions, keep spark or flames away from batteries. Report to your instructor any fire extinguisher that is used so that it can be recharged immediately. Report all unsafe fire conditions to your instructor immediately. Do not limit the use of exits, stairways, or areas that are used for the safe movement of people by storing flammable liquids. Do not limit the use of exits, stairways, or areas that are used for the safe movement of people by storing flammable or combustible liquids. You need specific eye protection for specific jobs. Use safety glasses with the side shields or full face shields. Always wear industrial safety glasses. Protect your eyes against hazardous materials that may splash accidentally. Use the appropriate suits or aprons to protect your clothes, body against hazardous materials. Use special gloves when handling hazardous materials such as acids and solvent. You need to know the materials. Know the hazardous properties of the materials. Know the equipment needed to properly protect you from the materials when working with it. Know how to use the protection equipment properly. This should fit properly and is in working orders. Now, we have here the personal safety practices in the metal shop. Eye protection. In the shop, safety glasses with side shields whenever you are using or near a machine, power tool, or hand tool where sparks, chips, or grinding are created. Working in a vehicle or lab, even watching also. Using dangerous chemicals or liquids. Eye and face protection. Wear additional eye and face protection by using a full face shield or over glasses goggles when grinding or working with molten metals that could burn your face. Tinted safety goggles should be worn while gas welding to protect your eyes from the bright flame. Welding helmets and safety glasses should be worn during all other welding processes to prevent damage to your eyes from high UV light. Use welding screens to protect others. Safety gloves. It is very important to wear gloves as it will protect the fingers and hands from a wide range of on-site injuries, from cuts and abrasions to chemical exposure and electrical shock. Dress properly for the shop. Remove ties. When working with machine tools, wear short sleeves or roll up long sleeves and fasten securely. Do not wear loose clothing since it may be caught in rotating machinery and draw you into it. Never wear open-toed shoes or sneakers in the shop. Wear steel-toed shoes if there is a possibility of objects falling on your feet. Long hair. Long hair must be tied back to prevent the chance of being pulled into spinning or moving machinery, car parts, and tools. Put up long hair in a hairnet or a baseball cap so it will not become caught in machinery. Tie up long beards because they too can be caught in machinery. Jewelry. Jewelry at work is a major safety hazard and can cause serious injuries. Jewelry can get caught into power tools or stuck against objects, conveyors, and moving parts of machinery. Remove all jewelry and store it or do not bring it to work. Remove all jewelry, including rings, watches, bracelets, dangling earrings, and bolo ties, also necklaces. Hearing protection. Hearing protectors are required to prevent noise-induced hearing loss. Hearing protection devices reduce the noise energy reaching and causing damage to the inner ear. The louder a sound is, and the longer you listen to it, the more it can damage your hearing. It can take as little as 1 minute to permanently damage your hearing if you use noisy power tools without ear protection. Drugs and alcohol. Do not operate machinery when fatigued, taking drugs of any kind, or using alcohol. Loss of productivity and poor performance, lateness and absenteeism, safety concerns, bad behavior or poor discipline, adverse effects on company image and customer relations. Fire extinguisher. If there is a fire, let your team know and only use a fire extinguisher if the need arises. Do not attempt to put out a fire by yourself. Never use a CO2 fire extinguisher on a person. Use a fire blanket. Know the location of fire or emergency exits, first aid kits, emergency eye wash stations, fire extinguishers, and fire alarm stations. Locate the nearest phone to call for fire or rescue help and have emergency phone numbers posted by the phone. What to do in case of fire? A fire, whatever its region, is an imminent danger to people who are nearby. So when we say imminent, it is about to happen. Adrenaline and nerves are natural reactions that could put us into a bigger risk. In case of fire in our workplace, we have to act quick and keep ourselves safe. At work or very busy places, the emergency chef must be aware of the evacuation escape plan and know the safety measures and instructions in case of fire. Which means that whatever the cause, a fire poses a serious threat to anyone close. And nerves and adrenaline, they are normal reactions that could put us at greater risk. In the event of a fire at work, we must act quickly to protect ourselves. The emergency chef they must be familiar with the evacuation escape plan at work or in extremely busy locations, as well as the safety precautions and fire safety guidelines. So, what to do in case of fire? So, there are many things we should always remember if there's a fire or in case of fire. So, pull the alarm when noticing a fire. So, which means that in the event of fire, we need to activate the alarm. Do not pick up any belonging. So, don't take anything from the ground or from anywhere. Evacuate calmly. All the employees must not or must know emergency exits and use them carefully. Leave the paths clear to facilitate everyone's evacuation. So, in the event of fire, we need to make a calm exit or we need to have a calm exit. And each employee must be aware of and cautiously use the emergency exits. And to make it easier for everyone to evacuate, keep the pathways clear. As far as possible, close windows. The last person to exit should close the doors after crossing. So, which means that if at all possible, shut the windows. And after crossing, the last person to go out should lock the doors. And do not use lifts. You may get trapped or go to the wrong floor. So, using or avoid using elevators. You could end up trapped or on the incorrect floor. And then, do not open warm or smoking doors. The consequence of opening it would be a backdraft, which means that in case of fire, do not open doors that are hot or smoky. Because if you opened it, a backdraft would result. Also, if there is a smoke in the air, stay low to the ground and protect your mouth and nose. Smoke goes to top air layers. It is extremely toxic and reaches high temperatures that may cause severe burns, which means that stay close to the ground and cover your mouth and nose if there is a smoke in the air. And top air layers are affected by smoke when there's a fire or in case of fire. It reaches high temperatures and is exceedingly poisonous, potentially resulting in severe burns. If you are trapped, look for a place with an outdoor window where you can be seen from to the rescue teams. Block the holes where smoke can come in with a wet clothing, preferably. Open the window only when it is extremely necessary to breathe. The entrance of oxygen can fan the fire. So, we need to find a location with an outdoor window so the rescue team or the rescue crews can see you if you are stranded. And if possible, we need to cover the holes where smoke could enter with damp cloths or wet cloths. So only when it is absolutely vital or important or necessary to breathe should you open the window or you open the window if it is necessary, and the introduction of oxygen may stroke the flames. So, emergency stop buttons. Never press the emergency stop buttons unless there is an emergency and the power needs to be turned off. So now let's proceed to the proper lifting technique. So as you can see, we have here an illustration of the wrong way of lifting and the right way of lifting. So in proper lifting techniques, we should follow these tips to avoid compressing the spinal disc of straining your lower back when you are lifting. So keep a wide base of support. Your feet should be shoulder width apart with one foot slightly ahead of the other karate stance. So squat down, bending at the hips and knees only. If needed, put one knee to the floor and your other knee in front of you, bent at a right angle, half kneeling. Keep good posture. Look straight ahead and keep your back straight, your chest out and your shoulders back. This helps keep your upper back straight while having a slight arc in your lower back. Slowly lift by strengthening your hips and knees, not your back. Keep your back straight and don't twist as you lift. Hold the load as close to your body as possible at the level of your belly button. Use your feet to change direction, taking small steps. Lead with your hips as you change direction. Keep your shoulders in line with your hips as you move. Set down your load carefully, squatting with the knees and hips only. So you just need to do as what you can see in the illustration. And keep in mind that do not attempt to lift by bending forward. Bend your hips and knees to squat down to your load. Keep it close to your body and straighten your legs to lift. Never lift a heavy object above shoulder level. Avoid turning or twisting your body while lifting or holding a heavy object. So what should I do before, during, and after an earthquake? What to do before an earthquake? Make sure you have a fire extinguisher, first aid kit, a battery-powered radio, a flashlight, and extra batteries at your workplace. Learn first aid. Learn how to turn off the gas, water, and electricity. Make up a plan of where to meet your colleagues after an earthquake. Anchor heavy furniture, cupboards, and appliances to the walls or floor. Learn the earthquake plan at your school or workplace. So what to do during an earthquake? Stay calm. If you're indoors, stay inside. If you're outside, stay outside. If you're indoors, stand against a wall near the center of the building, stand in a doorway, or crawl under heavy furniture. such a desk or table. Stay away from windows and outside doors. If you're outdoors, stay in the open away from power lines or anything that might fall. Stay away from buildings, stuff that or the stuff might fall off the building or the building could fall on you. Don't use matches, candles, or any flame. Broken gas lines and fire don't mix. If you're in a car, stop the car and stay inside the car until the earthquake stops. Don't use elevators, they may shut down. Protect the hands. Metal can be sharp, so use a brush and pan. Use a sterilized pin and tweezers to remove the splinter. Personal protective equipment. PPE or personal protective equipment is a regulation that requires employers to ensure their employees are protected when using equipment and machinery. PPE is equipment that will protect the user against health or safety risks at work. It can include items such as safety helmets, gloves, eye protection, high visibility clothing, safety footwear, and safety harnesses. It also includes respiratory protective equipment or the RPE. The use of PPE reduces the risk of number of potential hazards to health that may result in injury. This includes injuries to the lungs from breathing in contaminated air, the head and feet, for example, the from falling materials, the eyes from flying particles or splashes of corrosive liquids, the skin from contact with corrosive materials, the body from extremes of heat or cold. We have here a situations you need to let your colleagues know about. Leaving the room for any reason, if you hurt yourself, if you see someone who is being unsafe, if you see a machine or tool is broken, if you are unsure about a process or machine, if you see a fire. So what should you avoid doing when you're using metalworking machines? So first, do not distract an operator. Horseplay can lead to injuries and should be strictly prohibited. Do not wear loose clothing, gloves, neckties, rings, bracelets, or other jewelry that can become entangled in moving parts. Tie back and confine long hair. Do not remove cuttings by hand. Wait until the machine has stopped running to clear cuttings with a vacuum, brush, or rake. Do not leave machines running unattended. Turn power off. Do not free a stalled cutter without turning the power off first. Do not clean hands with cutting fluids. Do not clean hands or do not use a rags near moving parts of machines. Do not use compressed air to blow debris from machines or to clean dirt from cloths. So we have here as examples of pictures that we can see when we are inside in the metal shop. So now let's proceed to planning a product. So product planning definition. Product planning is the set of methods and processes a business uses to plan the development of a new product. It centers around the internal processes that are required for a product to be developed. It does not include marketing and deployment as these are external aspects of product development. These external processes fall under go-to-market planning. So we have here the steps in product planning. First is ideation. The first step in ideation. This is where the idea for the product will be developed. There is usually a seed of an idea for what the product should look like and accomplish. Number two is market research. Once you have a more concrete idea of what your product will look like and the factors that need to be considered during its development, you're ready to move to step two, market research. Number three is testing. In the third stage of product planning, you will want to come up with a methodology for testing your product. You don't need to be worried about testing your product right now, as it hasn't begun development yet. Rather, you're making tests in anticipation of when that product will exist. Number four is product maturity. The fourth stage deals with your product after its launch. Again, you are not planning how your product will launch. That's reserved to go to market planning. Number five is product life cycle. That brings us to the fifth and final step of product planning. And that's planning for the length of your product's life cycle. Planning a product is to decide a particular product or products which will be produced or distributed by an enterprise. The object of product planning is to earn maximum profits, to provide a maximum satisfaction to the consumer, and to make the best possible exploitation of the available resources of the enterprise. Some of the important definitions of planning a product are as under: product planning determines the characteristics of product best meeting the consumer's numerous desires, characteristics that add salability to products, and incorporates these characteristics into finished products, as per Johnson. Also, as per Mason and Rath, the planning, direction, and control of all stages in the life cycle of a product from the time of its creation to the time of its removal from the company's line of product known as product planning. Also from Carl H. Taitgen, product planning may be defined as the act of making out and supervising the search, screening, development, and commercialization of new products, the modification of existing lines, and the discontinuance of marginal or unprofitable items. Why is a product important? So, a product is a bundle of utilities consisting of various product features and accompanying services expected to yield satisfaction or benefits to the buyer. It is said that nothing happens in our economy unless there is a sale or purchase of a product. Product is the soul of all our marketing activities. Without a product, marketing cannot be imagined. Product is a tool in the hands of the management through which it gives life to a marketing program. So, the main responsibility of the management should be to know its product well. We also have here the importance of the product. And its importance can be judged from the following facts. First is the product is essential point for all marketing activities. So product is the pivot and all marketing activities revolve around it. Marketing activities, selling, purchasing, advertisement, distribution, sale, promotion are all useless if there is no product. It is a basic tool by which profitability of the firm is bargained. Number two is that product is the starting point of planning. So no marketing program shall be prepared if there is no product, because planning for all marketing activities, price, distribution, sales, promotion, advertising, and many more is done on the basis of the nature, quality, and the demand of the product. Product policies decide the other policies. Number three is the product is an end. The main objective of all marketing activities is to satisfy the customers. Various policy decisions are to provide a customers benefits, utilities, and satisfaction through a product. Thus, product is an end satisfaction of customer, and the producer, therefore, must insist of the quality, size, and many more of the product so that it may satisfy the customer's needs. Though low-quality products are available, their life will be very short as they fail in satisfying the customer's needs. Planning a product involves taking decisions with regard to which product must be produced or distributed by the enterprise, which new product must be developed, what kind of improvement and developments required in the product, what kind of expansion or contraction must be made in the product mix of the enterprise, what must be the quantity of production, what must be the price of the products. Now we have here the elements of product planning. Number one is to research prior to production. Before making a decision to manufacture a new product, a market research should be carried out extensively. The company must know beforehand what should be produced and for whom. It must decide on the characteristics of the product that can meet the requirements of the people. Number two is the possibility of production method. What kind of production method would be followed, and is it practicable to develop exactly what the consumer wants? This possibility should also be examined before taking a decision of producing a new product. Number three is modification in existing lines. The existing the existing producing lines should also be diagnosed to ascertain whether they can be improved upon to meet the new requirements of the consumer or a new product to be developed. It is possible to if it is possible to modify the existing line, then to what extent it should be done. We also have here the number four, which is the elimination in the product. Number five is improvement in the product. Number six is price determination. Number seven is commercialization of product. Number eight is coordination. So we have here the importance of product planning. Number one is starting point for marketing program. Number two is symbol of managerial ability. Number three is to meet social responsibilities. So starting point for marketing program is all the decisions made of an enterprise are directly or indirectly affected by by product planning. For example, if a marketing program is prepared without considering product planning, it cannot be expected to be successful. Therefore, it is necessary that product planning must be completed before preparing marketing programs. Number two is a symbol of managerial ability. So product planning is a process which embraces all the other efforts of an enterprise to forecast different aspects of product planning, such as can the product satisfy the needs and wants of consumers? Can the product face competition? Can the consumers pay the price for the product? Can the enterprise earn desired profit? Also, number three is to meet social responsibilities. So, it is true that the ultimate object of every business and industrial enterprise is to earn maximum possible profits, but at the same time, it is also true that this cannot be the sole objective of an enterprise. So, every business bears a great deal of responsibility of meeting and fulfilling the social requirements and expectations. Number four is helpful in facing the competition, and number five is wide scope, which means in number four, product planning is regarded as a competitive weapon because the success of marketing efforts of an enterprise depends upon the extent to which its products can face stiff competition in the market. Many decisions are taken in the process of product planning for improvements and changes in the products so that the challenges in competitive situations may be met successfully. Number five is wide scope. Product planning is important because many decisions are taken in the process of product planning. These decisions are development of new product, expansion of contraction of product mix, improvement in the product, determination of brand, label, packing, design, size, and price, and many more. Thus, the scope of product planning is very wide. So we have here the two links from YouTube, which are for the metal shop tour and modern metal products. We also have here a short video clip about personal protective equipment.
Personal protective equipment PPE. Use of personal protective equipments PPEs to reduce the employee exposure to the hazards when engineering and administrative controls are not feasible or effective in reducing these exposures to acceptable levels. Mandatory PPE: safety helmet, hard hat, to protect workers against impact and penetration of falling, flying, and stationary objects. Safety shoe: workers performing tasks which potentially expose them to extreme foot injury hazards, such as operating a ground temper or chipping concrete with a jackhammer, shall wear metal foot protectors. Safety goggles: to prevent employee eye exposure by requiring all workers and projects to enforce eye protection use. Impact-resistant safety glasses with side shields. Prescription lens safety glasses with side shields. Vented safety goggles. Non-vented safety goggles. Task-specific PPEs. Hearing protection. Many construction and manufacturing activities are overexposed to noise. In time, overexposure can damage your hearing. Hearing loss prevents you from hearing other hazards on the job.